Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Amplify Oz YouTube channel. Today is a special video because it's not like the usual copies of my Twitch streams, but instead it's some actual YouTube only content, so I hope you enjoy it. Today we're watching two videos. We're watching one video on this side of me, which is a clip that I've recorded from Microsoft Flight Simulator. On the other side, we're watching a clip that I recorded in real life taxiing from Sydney Domestic down to the runway and then back to Sydney Domestic. So here's the story time and taxi time of exactly what happened during this 12-minute or so taxi. Also gives us a great chance to compare and contrast the awesome graphics of Microsoft Flight Simulator with what things look like roughly in real life. Obviously, the field of view is quite different, and the colors are quite different, but in general, we can see how close is the scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator's rendition of Sydney to the real-world rendition of Sydney. This is actually the Fly Tampa payware scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I think it looks awesome. I'm so pleased that I bought it, even though Sydney is actually one of the handcrafted airports in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it's still worth buying the Fly Tampa scenery if you fly in and out of Sydney regularly, because it's just so great. So what's going on here? What are we doing? Well, first of all, you can see where we're going on the Nevergraph taxi map just above me. And you can see that we are taxiing from the terminal down taxiway Charlie and then turning left onto taxiway Bravo 10. So pretty much all normal, right? Like, that's what you'd expect from a domestic flight out of Sydney Airport. Nothing too surprising at all. Things start to get surprising when we start to make the turn at the end of Bravo 10. Now, at that point, you would pretty much expect us to go onto the runway. And in that case, it would be runway 16 left. But that's not what happens, and that's about to happen right now on the two videos on either side of me. So basically, yeah, we're taxiing along Bravo 10 now, and you can see we've passed the control tower, we've passed the water tower that's in the middle of Sydney, and we're going to continue taxiing along Bravo 10. Now, around about this point, the captain would be dinging the bell, telling the flight crew to take their seats for departure. And we would be getting underway. However, the taxi slows down for some reason. And you can hear the real-life audio as well from the video recorded on this side, just playing softly in the background. And basically what we're doing at this point, I think, is the captain's talking to the tower, talking to the crew, because things are not quite right, as we're about to find out on this aircraft. So we're now probably around the holding short line of runway 16 left. And we start moving again, and I'm thinking, awesome, we're about to take off. Glad I'm filming this. And there's the bing bong, which would normally indicate to the cabin crew to take their seats, but obviously in this case doesn't indicate that, because we're not going to take off. We actually do a U-turn at this point from Bravo 10 all the way around to taxiway Lima, and you can see from the real life footage here, which is a little bit ahead of the flight sim footage, we turn all the way around and we start going pretty much back the way we came. It's actually really tricky to get the flight sim footage to match up exactly with the real taxi footage. Obviously, a real captain in a Boeing 737-800 here for Virgin Australia, they're pretty practiced at taxiing smoothly and getting around Sydney Airport really proficiently. I'm not. I'm notoriously bad at taxiing, so just bear with me as I kind of go a bit slower and a bit faster to try and keep the Microsoft Flight Sim version of the video caught up with the real world version of the video. So yeah, at this point we are turning back the way we came. I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's a runway change. Maybe something's going on with the aircraft, but I definitely wasn't expecting us to go back to the gate, which is what we did. Around about now is when the captain makes the announcement to the passengers that things are not quite right. It's dealt with very professionally, I must say, by the flight crew and by the cabin crew. Obviously, here we go. So yeah, we had a water leak. Obviously, you don't want a plane that's leaking out heaps of water from the bottom. It could be sink water or toilet water, or it could be something more serious, or even another kind of liquid. You probably wouldn't know necessarily at this point without the engineers taking a look at it. So I think the cabin crew and the flight crew did the right thing here. They dealt with it really professionally. They turned us around. They sent us back to the gate. And at this point, I'm just getting loads of taxiing content, right? Which is why I'm making this video, so it works well for me. And we get a great tour of Sydney Airport on the domestic side of the runways. We basically now taxi back up taxiway Bravo up towards the domestic terminal. We have to go up Bravo, and then we have to cross the crossing runway 25, and then we take a right turn into the domestic terminal, and you can see all that on the Novograph chart as we're moving along. It ended up being not such a big deal, obviously, because within 20 minutes of us being stopped at the gate, the engineers had boarded, they looked at a few things, and then they disembarked again, closed the doors, and yeah, within 20 minutes we were pushing back again from the gate. So it obviously wasn't a serious issue. Maybe a valve wasn't closed, maybe a switch wasn't switched, but and it was probably only water and not hydraulic or fuel or anything like that. But obviously you don't want to be flying in a plane that's leaking stuff, so they did the right thing here. It's great to be able to compare and contrast, actually, the Microsoft Flight Sim and the real-world taxiing of a proficient airline pilot. This Boeing 737-800 is obviously one of Virgin Australia's fleet. Normally well maintained. This is actually the first maintenance issue that I've come across with Virgin Australia, and I fly on them about once a fortnight, actually, especially before COVID. So yeah, first time I've come across an issue like this. Comparing the real world taxi to the Microsoft Flight Sim taxi, I think the main thing that you can see is, you know, in the real world you get a real sense that this airport is a big airport, right? These runways are 3 kilometers long. The long runway is 3 kilometers long. It's a big airport. It's Australia's major international airport, and you get a real sense of that in the real footage, that this covers a large amount of land, and the taxiing is at pretty slow pace, probably like 25 knots, and takes us sort of 10 minutes to go from the top to the bottom and back. So it's definitely a big airport, and you really get a feel of that more in real life than you do in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I feel. It might be the field of view or of the sim, or it might just be looking at things through a screen rather than looking at things through a window as I was doing otherwise. You can see a little Jetstar plane there as we pass him, and then we're just passing back into the domestic terminal parking area. Look at all those Jetstars lined up there in the real world version. That is obviously the Jetstar pier of the domestic terminal here at Sydney Airport, and our gate's coming up straight ahead of us. We're in gate domestic 43, I think it was, and right at the end of the Virgin pier of the domestic terminal. So yeah, you can see now we're pulling up to the terminal. There's another Virgin aircraft. We make quite a sharp left turn to line ourselves up here with the jetway, and we pull into our gate once more. I guess I'd like to say thanks as always to the awesome team at Virgin who looked after us really well, and I hope you enjoyed watching that taxi around video and the comparing and contrasting what the real world looks like compared to the sim world. We'll be able to see more of these the next time I fly. If you want to see more of me, then you can go over to my TikTok. You can follow my Instagram, and you can also follow me on Twitch, which is where I do live streaming, and it's probably where you know me from already. My Twitch is twitch.tv/AmplifyOz. I am Tristan/AmplifyOz, and thank you so much for watching today's YouTube special content, taxiing around Sydney, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!